Hello, everyone. The webinar will start in a few minutes. Hello, we'll be starting the webinar in just a few minutes. Welcome to the iPass webinar, Go Wi-Fi First to Save Time and Money. My name is Wendy Conway and I'm the Head of Global Marketing at iPass. Speaking to you today will be iPass Head of Product Management, Maneesh Rai. Maneesh has managed industry-leading products from companies such as VMware and WebEx. He's also consulted to a number of Fortune 500 companies such as Apple, Visa, Dell, and Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance in areas such as product marketing and technology strategy. Today, Maneesh will discuss how Wi-Fi has transformed the way we access content, how the inherent challenges of Wi-Fi create friction points to connecting, and how new connection intelligence technology simplifies the Wi-Fi experience and increases productivity. Some housekeeping items before we start. The call is being recorded. All attendees are on mute, but if you have a question, just type your question in the chat box and we'll address it at the end of the presentation. Maneesh?
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to be speaking to you and presenting you our technology. As Wendy just mentioned, the topic of our conversation here is Go Wi-Fi First to save time and money. So I'll be using this opportunity to talk to you about the connectivity challenges that exist today, the opportunities that we see, how we have positioned our technology platform to solve those needs, and where are we headed in the future. So jumping straight into the topic, I mean, it's not uncommon for any of us to know that Wi-Fi is definitely right in the middle and center of connectivity challenges today. So in order to solve those connectivity challenges, iPass positions itself as a combination of unlimited, everywhere, and invisible. Today, iPass offers global mobile connectivity by the largest network of Wi-Fi hotspots on the planet. We have close to 60 million hotspots, and our goal is to offer connectivity that is unlimited, everywhere, and invisible. Now, what does that mean? By unlimited, we drive ourselves to believe that nobody's capabilities or productivity should be limited due to lack of connectivity or Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, we believe, should always be available, almost like a dial tone, without a second thought. And our goal at iPass is to make it easy and affordable for our customers to live the unlimited philosophy by giving them access to our platform on an all-you-can-eat model. By everywhere, we mean, iPass, our motto has been to make connectivity available everywhere where users go. And as I walk through the details of our platform, you'll be able to see how we leverage the power of technology to make connectivity available to folks around the globe, be it airport, be it airplanes, hotels, cafes, more than 120 countries throughout the world. I mean, that's where our 60 million hotspots, are spread. And with access to those 57 million hotspots, iPass can connect you when you're on the move or wherever you are. And then we evolve our vision to take it to the next level, which I will cover, a little bit, towards the end of the presentation. Last but not the least, Wi-Fi today is a binary user-driven experience, but we want to make it invisible. Invisible means, it has to be utility design. Connecting to Wi-Fi and staying connected should be simple and automated. User should not have to think about making any effort in trying to make that connection, just like several other technologies where the expectations are pretty similar. So in our case, we think that it should just happen, almost like a dial tone. iPass platform or the connectivity platform should automatically connect you to the best hotspot at any given location without user involvement. Now, today, if you look around, the fact that the number of mobile users is growing is visible. I mean, today there are 4.8 billion global mobile users, and we can all see that number is ever increasing every single day. The number of devices, and more importantly, mobile devices, are growing. The number of devices per user are growing, and as is very evident, the amount of traffic that flows through every single device is growing. So if you multiply all of those three, which is the number of users, which is growing, number of devices per user, which is growing, and the amount of traffic per device that seems to be growing, it is very evident why we have been observing an almost exponential growth in traffic over the last few years, and that pattern is not going to slow down anytime in the near future. So we just have to be prepared for that world. That is just the new reality. When you talk to customers, users, 97% of them say that anywhere access to data and applications, make them more effective. It's pretty evident. Today, it's very hard to imagine, any human being without having access to connectivity, and more importantly, the mobile workers. To sum it up, being connected is almost like a basic need today, and that's where iPass comes into play. We are a part of the solution to what the world pretty much needs in terms of connectivity. Now, when you start looking at connectivity, there are different vehicles to connectivity, and when you start analyzing the trend that's out there in the market, you would see the world is definitely going Wi-Fi first. That is a very visible trend today. You will have 3G available, you have 4G available, 5G specs are out. They will be available, very soon. Satellite has been a technology that has been in existence, but it is clearly visible that people are using Wi-Fi over 3G and 4G. And there are reasons. If you start digging deeper, you'll start seeing, the reasons for that. Wi-Fi is pretty pervasive. It's available everywhere in the world you go. The standards are, the equipments and the standards are pretty seamless across boundaries, across countries, across locations. Wi-Fi is pretty much there everywhere. So even if you're traveling international, for example, you don't really have to rely on your cellular plans. Just to quote some numbers, when we look at our own install base, in Netherlands, Wi-Fi almost accounted 70% for all the smartphone connections that we measured. And when we talk to customers and prospects in US, we see 2/3 of our customers or consumers prefer Wi-Fi over cellular. Now, that doesn't mean Wi-Fi is better in all aspects compared to cellular. Wi-Fi does offer, upload and download speeds which are extraordinarily better, but cellular offers, its own inherent benefits as well. So they all are going to coexist, but like I said, if you look at all the data, all the patterns that are out there, it is clearly visible that the world is definitely going Wi-Fi first today. Now, connectivity is a basic need. We talked about it. I don't think there are any two doubts about the fact that connectivity is almost a basic need today. There are several technology vehicles out there, Wi-Fi, cellular, 3G, 4G, satellite. Wi-Fi definitely, all the data points that Wi-Fi definitely seems to be the preferred method of choice, not the only method of choice, but definitely the first method of choice. And to sum it like the way we present, it's called, we look at it as Wi-Fi first, but not Wi-Fi only. But then when you start looking at Wi-Fi as a solution, it's not that the solution is foolproof. I'm sure all of you have experienced that Wi-Fi has its own inherent challenges too. Wi-Fi does not offer the most consistent user experience. It's a binary best attempt, user-driven decision making. It sometimes works, it sometimes does not work. It's definitely not automatic. So if you're sitting at an airport, connecting to a Wi-Fi is definitely not seamless. It's a user-driven effort. It's definitely not something that just happens. And when you get connected, so if you have a hotspot, and when you get connected, that's where the last part of the problem comes in. It's not necessarily secure. 95% of the hacks actually happen over the last mile, which is exactly where you are actually connecting to the internet over a Wi-Fi hotspot. So those are some of the key inherent challenges from a user standpoint, and that's where iPass built our platform, which we call Smart Connect, to address some of these key challenges. So before I dive deeper into how exactly we solve, we leverage the power of some of the cutting-edge technologies and some data science and machine learning platforms to provide solution to the problems that are actually pretty pervasive, no matter where you go, no matter where you try to connect on a Wi-Fi platform. The basics of that starts with our platform, which we call Verify. So Verify is a platform where we are collecting data from the scan list wherever iPass-enabled devices are traveling. So if an iPass-enabled device travels over a particular island, we are collecting data from that island, and so on and so forth. So we continue to collect the data. This is where our network effect starts to come into play. We have a continuously growing user base, and as they grow, they feed more data. We take the data, we put it, on our backhaul, which is Amazon, and we start to apply machine learning and data science algorithms to it to start to figure out patterns of performance and patterns of, characteristics like upload speed, download speed, latitude, longitude, to start to identify patterns in the data. We use that data to come up with a ranking and scoring algorithm. So we have close to 60 million hotspots, and we go through every single one of them. We collect data where we collect, and we start to rank and score those hotspots. How do you use those hotspots? So this is where we leverage another key development in technology in the recent past, which is the cloud technology. So the results of our ranking and scoring algorithms, which results in a final recommendation list, is sitting on the edge of the cloud. And so when your device tries to make a connection attempt, it pretty much talks to our backend, which, based on the real-time information that's available to on the cloud, it communicates to your device telling which hotspots to connect to. So really, if you take a step back, we have started to apply the basics of data collection, data storing, data intelligence, data mining, machine learning, and leverage the power of cloud technology in order to make real-time Wi-Fi decisions. So we are now starting to remove the user trying to make a connection attempt and trying to make it more automated, more seamless, based on the historical data that we have collected and based on the patterns that we identify. Taking it a step further, based on the data that we collect, we now start to derive intelligence out of the data that we continue to collect every single day, and which is actually growing. The rate of collection of data that we have is growing every single day because the network that we rely on is growing every single day, and the network effect starts to feed into our big data platform. By starting to build this quality QoS database that we have, we not only improve the knowledge of hotspots throughout the world without actually us being there, but the clients doing, our Smart Connect client doing the work on our behalf, and starting to make auto connection decisions based on the hotspots that are available at a particular location, based on what the client observes and what we have learned from the data science and data mining by exploring the data that we collected over a period of time. So what does that mean to end user? To the end user, all of this technology advancement really translates into, when you are at a particular location and you're around different hotspots, we have a sense of your context. We know from your scan list what access points are available. And we can make decisions based on the past data and based on the real-time information coming from the client, which ones to connect to, which ones to not to connect to. And that's driven by intelligence from both the sides. We have a context of the application that's driving the usage, and based on the historical data that we have, we also know the quality of service and the quality of hotspots available. So by collecting this intelligence and using this intelligence, we are now starting to make connection intelligence inferences from the data and starting to connect your device based on the power of Smart Connect platform. Now, how does it help you in addition to making smarter? So we connected your device to a network based on your context and based on the data science learning that we observed. That said, if you have been following our expansion closely, we have grown our network almost 300% year over year in the last year. So we grew almost from 18 million hotspots towards the end of the last year to almost close to 60 million hotspots right now. And those hotspots are spread throughout the world. So we take it where the users are. We have access to hotspots in 120 different countries, 700, close to 800 airports, 2,700 trains, and growing every single day. So we are growing our footprint very aggressively at almost 300% year over year, and we are actually taking that footprint to where users actually go. So how do we take our network to where the users are going? It's good. We are growing our footprint. We are adding to our base, and we are providing you connectivity. But leveraging the power of data, Smart Connect that we collect, we are actually making very intelligent decisions on where actually to add the supply. So this is just a picture of Singapore and the dots that you see in orange. And there are dots that you may or may not clearly see, but those are visible in blue. So this is a map of a particular location where we are able to discern the orange points which actually belong to us. And then we are also able to get a picture of non-iPass networks. So by having this level of visibility by geography, what's a part of iPass network, what's not, and what those networks are, we see where the users are growing. So if we have to make supply decisions, which we actually make every single day, we are now starting to make those decisions based on where the users are going, their frequency of travel, and where do we get the biggest bang for the buck when we actually add more supply to our network. So the point here being, Smart Connect is not only driving your user experience, Smart Connect is not only leveraging the past data to make intelligent connections, Smart Connect is not only making your user experience better, but it helps us to grow our footprint at a place where actually it makes a lot more beneficial for us as opposed to just adding supply. So this is an intelligent supply addition to add network and connectivity to where users are actually traveling. Last but not the least, through our platform, we are also organically able to grow hotspots and add them into our network as users roam. So as traffic on our network increases, as our customers travel more and more, when we see open hotspots, not only are we adding it through procurement, which is our supply side, but we are also adding open hotspots to our network. So that's the other aspect of Smart Connect, where we are leveraging the power of Smart Connect platform to intelligently add networks while we are doing that almost at 300% year over year. at places where give us and give you a lot more return on adding those hotspots. Now, the one common argument that we always hear is Wi-Fi is free. So I always point out the fact that 79% of the earth is water, but water isn't really free. There are many times that I have paid, and I'm sure you have paid more for water than we actually pay for gasoline. So Wi-Fi may be free at certain places, but if you start observing where most of the last mile attacks happen, they actually happen exactly where you connected on a free network. And that's not, security is just one aspect of it. There is a productivity aspect to it as well. When the average time, for example, in a flight is 71 minutes, or when you are at an airport for really 45 minutes, there isn't a whole lot of time for you to look around for a hotspot, and try to make connection attempts, may work, may not work, where productivity may be suffering. So it's not just productivity, it's not just about convenience, but very, very importantly, it's also about security. Because realize 95% of the attacks actually happen on the last mile of connectivity. So what do we do? So in addition to doing all the good things that I just talked about, which is making your user experience better, making it seamless, providing you an automated connectivity and giving you coverage wherever the users are going, we added a feature called Last Mile VPN to our platform. This feature is available at no additional cost, so it's available to you when you have iPass services. What does this solution do? So this provides you security all the way from your device to our iPass VPN server. Now realize this is where 95% of the attacks are happening. So we're making sure that the traffic that's originating from your device, we take it all the way to our VPN server over a secure tunnel and drop it over the internet gateway. I would not call this a like-for-like replacement for full-blown traditional corporate VPN solutions, but it's a very good substitute when you do not have any other means of securing your data. This tends to resonate very well with smaller and small to medium customers, and in addition, it also works very well when your corporate device may be secured through your corporate VPN, but your personal device may not be. So the last mile VPN starts to come very handy and starts protecting customers at a place where they are most vulnerable. Now, when we bring all of this together, we started looking at the mobile experience as to how does a day-to-day interaction work with Wi-Fi network, and we very closely analyze and have been analyzing these behaviors at different places. So, you go to airport, the behavior is a little different. At in-flight, your experiences are a little different. When you have free Wi-Fi, and so on and so forth. And with Smart Connect, we started to redesign each of those experiences based on the Smart Connect platform and the security and the convenience that we offer. So I won't go into details of each of these. This was just a case in point saying not only are we looking at it from a technology side, a supply side, convenience side, connectivity side, security side, but we take every single experience where users connect on Wi-Fi and we have redefined those experiences. So take the case of in-flight. Today, without an iPass solution, if you board a flight, it's a fairly elaborate process of your taking out your device, opening up the screen, waiting for the 10,000 meters to be reached, making the connection attempt, putting in your credit card, going through the capture screen, and by the time you're done, it's been a fairly long time. If you look at the average flight times in Europe, for example, which is 71 minutes, there isn't a whole lot of time between when internet is available and when the plane lands for you to do all those steps. So what we did, we took that experience, we integrated into our platform. Like I said earlier, we have close to 27 or 2,800 flights that are already iPass enabled, and that's growing every single day. That's a key part of our supply. And then we integrate the iPass platform into the devices. So our goal is when you boot up the device with a single touchscreen, I know who the user is, and we are seamlessly able to connect you through that in-flight connection mechanism available without going through all the steps that I just talked before. So Not only am I providing you connectivity where it matters to you, when you may be sitting in a flight for a while, it provides you an access to be a medium to be productive, but I've taken all the pain points away, made it a seamless user experience, saved you time while making it definitely, more secure than what it was before. So I won't go through all the details, but like I said earlier, Wi-Fi is at the core and center of what we do. So we look at every single user experience, and if you look at closely at our platform, we have pretty much redefined each of those user experience to make it, intelligent, seamless, and almost like a dial tone, which we want our technology to be. So that was a brief update on what we did in the recent past. How our unique and cutting-edge technology platform makes us uniquely positioned to solve the connectivity challenges in today's world. So next question is, where are we headed? So like I said earlier, we think of ourselves as Wi-Fi first, but not Wi-Fi only. That's a very important statement for us as a company. The one thing that we always recognize and realize is that there is not one vehicle of communication today, and technology changes. Today Wi-Fi may be the preferred method of communication. It may be preferred over cellular, but things will evolve, and we don't want to be focused on Wi-Fi only. So which is why we position ourselves as Wi-Fi first, but not Wi-Fi only. And as we look into the future, our goal, and we are actively working on it, is to be able to seamlessly navigate across each of those technologies to leverage the benefits of each of those platforms. Wi-Fi will have its own inherent advantages over cellular and vice versa, and we want to be reaping both. So that's where we are headed. Now, our CEO has set a goal for us to be on 1 billion devices, so we're definitely shooting for it. We are seeing an aggressive growth in our install base. We are adding footprint, we are adding more capacity to support that growth, but we definitely have an aim of adding and getting onto 1 billion devices. Multi-bearer strategy, kind of what I referred before. Today, we definitely have the largest Wi-Fi network on the planet, but Wi-Fi is not the only technology we rely on. We position ourselves as Wi-Fi first, but not Wi-Fi only, and we will continue to evolve our platform to support multiple bearers and to be able to switch across bearers. Today, we make intelligent network selection within Wi-Fi. Tomorrow, we want to be able to make it across platforms. So tomorrow, we want to make intelligent network selections between, for example, Wi-Fi and satellite, or Wi-Fi and cellular, or cellular and satellite. So that's where we are headed. We think of ourselves as gateway to connectivity, which goes to say that we are trying to simplify the connectivity experience, and in a lot of ways, we want to be equally open to any technology that comes our way. Now, the other point that I want to hit is, you may have noticed, we use the data that we collect to drive cost optimization. That's a factor of quite a few things. We are definitely adding supply much more intelligently, where actually it gives you and gives us a more bang for the buck. We have made our supply side pretty much flat fee, unlimited pricing, so now we are able to extend the unlimited benefits to you. And in addition, by our aggressive growth, we are actually able to drive the per unit cost down. So when you actually come to us and leverage the power of our platform, you are leveraging the power of a platform which is getting onto 1 billion devices and driving the cost down for the entire supply. Last but not the least, we always want to be on the cutting edge of technology, availing the benefits of any latest and greatest development that happens in technology. We have close to 40 patents. We are ahead of the curve, and we would like to continue to be that way. If you look at, for example, the recent past, the big developments have been around big data platform, cloud technologies, and more scalable software development platforms. We leverage the benefit of all of that. Today, Smart Connect leverages all of those platforms to give you a unique solution that we believe no one in the industry provides. A combination of the platform that we have, the operations that we provide, and the supplier contracts that we have. And we will continue to be on the cutting edge of technology to make sure we are giving you the benefit that not only solves the real problem that you face, but it's solved in the most efficient and most optimal way. So that was my presentation. I hope that gave you a good picture of where we see the current connectivity challenges, how do we see the environment. We definitely want to ride the wave. We want to recognize the trend, and we want to go along with the trend. Use the power of technology to make sure we solve the connectivity need, not just today, but as we look forward and as technology evolves and as market evolves, we want to continue to be on the cutting edge of technology.
Thank you, Maneesh. For those of you who joined later, you can type any questions that you have into the chat box. We do have some questions. We have a question from Ivan. How do you address mobility of users? Can Wi-Fi provide full coverage?
The simple answer to that is not at all the places, which is why we use the power of our platform to see where the users are going and add hotspots, at those places. So if it's in the middle of an island where nobody is going, we of course our Smart Connect wouldn't tell us to add hotspot there. But we do observe for patterns of where users are going and where the traffic is, and that's where we add our network. Now, that's today. Now, if I look in the future, like I said, there are inherent benefits of other technologies like cellular and satellite. So we will be bringing them under fold. And when you're driving on a highway, maybe you do not have a Wi-Fi hotspots. Maybe you will. Cars are getting connected. But while that's not there, we will tap onto the cellular network that's out there.
Great. We have another question. This one comes from Jerry. My company already has a VPN solution. How does your last mile VPN work with a corporate VPN?
So that's a very good question. The way our VPN works is it's a either or. So you can continue to use your VPN. It can be configured. You don't need to configure iPass VPN. But if you do not have a corporate VPN, you can choose to have ours. It's included in our package at no additional cost. The other point that I referred briefly earlier is users or employees sometimes tend to have personal devices as well. So that may be another option where the corporate devices are covered through corporate VPN, whereas the users are adding personal devices while they're on the go. They could choose to leverage iPass VPN. But it's either or. You can choose to have it, or you can choose to continue to have your own corporate VPN.
Okay. This question comes from Samantha. You mentioned cost as one of the benefits. How does Smart Connect lower costs?
So that's a very good question, Samantha. So if you go back to what I talked earlier, we grew our network 300%. So we are definitely adding a lot more supply. Then we leverage the power of Smart Connect platform to see where the users are going. So on one side we have scale, but on the other side we have intelligence. So I would not add those millions of hotspots at a location where the users aren't going. I'm actually adding it at a place where users are frequenting. So I am driving the cost down, but I'm driving it down intelligently to where it actually matters to you. Last but not the least, we have a goal to get onto 1 billion devices. So if we get onto 1 billion devices, we are driving that billion device traffic over our network. And with the 200 suppliers that we have in place today, and with the flat free pricing that we are moving towards both on the supply side and the demand side, leveraging the power of traffic that we are driving through billion devices, today and in future, we will be able to bring that cost down better than if anybody else would do on their own.
We have another question. This one comes from Jack. You talked about Smart Connect being able to take feedback from the cloud. Is it real time?
Yes, it is. So there are two contexts here. So when you are at a particular location, there is a context around you. There are hotspots. Your device scans that list, sends it back to our cloud, and our clouds makes a recommendation based on the past behavior as to which order of preference it should go to in order to connect your device, and that is real time.
Okay. We have a clarifying question. If you have dense deployment of your APs, do you provide seamless connectivity? How do you do it?
Yes, we do. So if I just go back to the previous question that I answered, when we have more than one hotspot, at a particular location, and your device pings our edge platform to figure out which one it should connect to, we provide a decreasing order of preference list. So if you see, for example, 10 hotspots, we would rank score them in order of preference and ask your device to go in that particular order. So to answer your question, how do we do it? We use the power of Smart Connect to rank score and feed that intelligence back to your device So when your device observes a dense deployment of access points, it knows the order in which to go to.
If there are no other questions, we can end here. I'll give you another second here. Okay, well, thank you so much. I want to thank everyone for joining us for today's webinar. We'll be following up with a link to the content in the next 24 hours. Thank you so much for your time, and good afternoon.
Thank you, everyone.